Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tingling Tea. Here at the Tingling Tea, we talk about the strange and the supernatural, the weird and the wonderful, the creepy and the cryptid, and all that is phenomenally freaky. This evening, I can't go any further. Whenever I do this show, I have to bring in my illustrious co-host. So with me tonight, as always, is my beautiful, wonderful friend, Annabelle Chimpton.
Yo, 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 what's up, everybody?
Hello, Annabelle. How's it going?
Oh, it's going most excellent today. I have AC.
Oh, yay!
Annabelle Chimpton, now with AC.
Now with AC. And a portable one at that, which I totally love. I totally believe in those.
Just roll it into the other room.
Just roll it into the other room. Exactly. Best thing ever. And then, you all, we can't go any further without bringing in the most handsome and also knowledgeable Mr. Augie Eddie Peterson, Amadeus.
Was that knowledgeable like with a period or with a question mark?
With a T.
Knowledgeable. Speaker
knowledgeable.
Yeah. Period. With the T at the end of it. You know, that's a new thing now. Instead of saying period, you have a T on the end of it because that means it makes it a hard period. Like that.
Wow.
Yes. You don't know about that?
I don't know about these
I did not
things.
know about that either.
Hello. Oh,
Hey,
she's not
Mia.
able to stay with us today. We have a really good show today, but I know you can always look it up in post. So
Totally.
but
And
thank you for joining us.
check out Mia's profile pic. Doesn't she
Yeah,
look awesome?
obviously.
That
She
looks-
does.
Is that your makeup or is that the Disney filter?
That's the filter.
It's a
That's
Disney
the
filter.
That's
yeah.
an amazing filter.
Yeah,
Isn't
it
it
looks
amazing?
great.
And it
is.
says something about Mia that I'm like, I can't tell if that's a sweet makeup look or a filter.
Yeah,
That's
because her
true.
makeup is so dynamic.
I
It
know.
really is.
Amazing.
It really
So
is.
good.
So listen, I just have to give this disclaimer if you are watching this show for the first time or, you know, you've never seen this show or whatever, please, turn us off or turn us down if you do not like watching this type of content. We talk about scary content on this show, and some of the stuff that we talk about in the show may not be suitable for people who don't like that kind of content. So we ask you to turn it down or turn us off. And if you have children watching us, please use parental discretion. Sometimes our content is not appropriate for them. And so we're just hoping that you know your child well, so you know, not to watch it if there's going to be something that's going to mess with their child's mind.
Child
Hello,
can't
Angel.
handle- Hello, Angel. Sometimes your children can't handle the tea that we've got to spill on this particular program.
Right. And the
It's
blood.
hot.
And the blood sometimes too.
This is hot.
The blood and things.
I've never seen a teacup like the one you're drinking, Annabelle, but okay.
Oh, this? Dawn of the Red.
Let me tell you something about Angel. Angel is an artist. You guys have to follow him. You have to follow him. He is amazing. Some of the art that he does. He does a lot of the kind of, fantasy content that we like, especially when it comes to DC and Marvel. So I definitely say, go and check him out. I can actually put that in post so you all can follow him from this point on.
Oh,
But
yes. I
definitely-
remember you telling us about him, and
Yes.
we looked at some of his amazing art. That was
Thank-
pretty cool.
Hi, Kat. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. I miss you. So anyway, let's get on to our discussion this evening because we have a few things that we have to get through this evening. A lot of interesting stuff. But before we do any of that, I want to wish my brother, Jay, a happy 50th birthday.
What?
50th.
Big 50.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, he is 50. He's the big 50. I can't even believe it. Each day that I wake up and I think about this, because there is a 10 and a 14-year age difference or a 9 and a 14-year age difference between me and my siblings. I'm so amazed that he's 50 and he still looks like he's 30.
Look at him.
Yeah, he looks good.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he is really up our alley as far as he's into tech. I think he's an engineer. He's been doing it for a long time. Yeah, I can't remember what he does. Who knows? I know he's into tech. That's all I know. I know he's into tech.
Does
So
he write code? Does he write code?
I don't know. I don't think that I'm not sure if he writes code or not. Look, he's been doing it for
Okay.
so long. He's been doing it out of the womb for all I can remember. But yeah.
Cool.
But this is my brother. He is the coolest brother ever.
He looks cool in this shot.
Yeah,
He does.
He is a very funny sense of humor, and he always does it he delivers it with a straight face, his humor. So, he's just dry and sarcastic humor and everything like that. But love you, bro. Miss you too. Have a wonderful weekend this weekend for your birthday.
How is it that your entire family looks young? What is going on? If you were to make a picture of a 50-year-old in my family, it would not look like this person in front of me.
Right?
They would be all looking haggard and just a mess.
And he and his wife have 3 kids too. You would never think that. All college age.
Life happened to this man. College. This man has gone through some stuff, and he still looks like that.
Yeah. Well, if you ask Bill Burr, the comedian, he says it's because we actually sleep in lotion. So, yeah, Bill Burr.
That's the secret.
Yeah, Bill Burr is married to an African American woman, and he was talking about how they look so vastly different in age. And he was saying the secret he goes, listen, he said, Black people crack just like anybody else. The secret with them is that they sleep in lotion. Listen,
I've been doing it all wrong.
You have. Let me tell you something. You take my lotion away from me, and it is a fight. It is a fight.
So where do you get your lotion? Do you have to buy it in bulk in Costco? Where do you get all this lotion?
No. Listen, you after so many years, you realize what works and what does not work. I can highly recommend. Hey, I'll tell you what. Y'all go to my webpage, Body Shop by Les, and buy some of the Body Shop products that I sell, because that stuff does work too. Natural shea butters, all going to the women who create that shea butter in Africa. They get money for that. I mean, it's all free trade. I'm telling you, great products. Go to Body Shop by Les and buy some of the products. But I highly recommend those products, as well as Nivea, which is very thick lotion and really works.
I thought it was Nivea. It's not Nivea?
I don't know. Nivea. I think it's Nivea. It's a German company, isn't it?
Is that how Germans say that? I don't know.
I don't think they would say Nivea.
Okay.
I don't know. Who knows? I mean, if somebody is German, tell us what the correct pronunciation of that is. This is Nivea or Nivea. But anyway, I'm telling you, that's the secret to who we are as a people, is that we use a lot of lotion. Yes.
That is a very insightful, non-scary component of this.
Yeah, that's not scary. No, what's scary is if you see a Black person ain't got no lotion on their skin. That's scary. You talk about somebody who looks like they've been kicking rocks and dirt all day. No, that don't work. That don't work. But we got some smooth skin. Yes.
Welcome to the Tingling Tea, everybody.
Anyway, so happy birthday, Jay. You look great. And I'm
you
really
do look
proud
great,
of you, bro.
Jay. Yeah.
So what was supposed to be coming up with this information that we were supposed to be talking about, this UFO stuff that was?
Yeah. Okay. So we touched about it earlier, right?
Yes.
That there is a report that is supposed to be released by the Pentagon by the end of June, containing all of their UFO evidence and research behind that evidence.
So from my understanding, it was supposed to be out by today or the 25th.
So I think they initially had said by the 25th, which is tomorrow. But I think most of the sources are saying it's expected before the end of June. And
I think that's actually in the bill, that they must release it. Yeah. They must release it by the end of June.
But that's not that many more days, right? That's 6 more days.
Next week,
yeah, that's actually 6 more days. So
I was hoping that by now it would be released, but instead I want to play a quick little game with both of you and the chat as well. What are your top 3 predictions for what is going to be in this research? And you can give top 1 to 3 if you don't have 3.
All right, so go ahead, Liz.
No, go ahead. I want to hear what you think.
Well, I don't think there's going to be anything about alien beings. I think it's all going to be focused strictly on unidentified flying objects. right? Just and I think I think there will be a listing of encounters that are going to be very played down, meaning they're going to, sort of wash out all the expletives and all the the stuff that would make it really interesting, right? Yep. And they're just going to make it like, this pilot saw this thing on this date. It appeared to be something. We don't know what it is. That doesn't mean it, we don't know if it comes from another planet. We don't know what it is. I think there's going to be a lot of that. I don't think there's going to be anything massive, like oh my God, ET is coming. But I think it's going to be a lot of fodder for us to speculate even more about what it really means, because they're not going to fully let it go, but they're just going to give you enough to pass whatever the regulation is that they need to pass.
So your prediction is that it's going to be pretty much useless, right?
Yeah. See, listen. Angel said it best. We can neither confirm nor deny there's shit flying around. That's what he's saying. That's exactly what they're going to say.
He's right.
Yes.
They'll be like, we don't know what this shit is, but we saw it.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's about where I'm at. I think they're going to release this information in the most boring way possible.
Yeah.
It's going to be something you don't want to read, and you have to hope the people over at the Marfa Institute catalog it so the rest of us can just search it.
Listen, they're not going to talk about the alien alliance that we were supposed to have with them that Trump tried to expose when he was in office.
Oh yeah, the Iraqi official blew the lid on that one, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And or actually no, the Israeli, because the guy was an Israeli physicist that blew the lid on that. And then of course now Trump wanted to release it, so they're definitely not going to talk about that. They're not going to talk about the alien races. They're not going to talk about the fact that they're in alliance with them to actually sanction abductions, and do experiments on our people. Now, it's not going to go that in depth.
We're not going to see if they've met the quota for their month yet.
Exactly. It's not going to be any of the stuff that we get on MUFON. It's not going to be any of that, or Coast to Coast. It's just going to be basic stuff. But here's the thing that's most important about it, though. And you're right about that, Angel, they're going to redact a lot of stuff. What's most important about this is that now we have confirmed by them releasing this information that aliens do exist, that UFOs do exist. Something is out there.
Well, so it is worth saying that they have explicitly said that they do not confirm aliens exist. But what they do confirm is that there's aircraft that they don't have explanation.
That's what they're gonna say. Yeah, there's just aircraft they can't explain.
I would love if they're
up there flying it around.
The Russians.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Although they did say that the Nazis, who had been in league with aliens way before that, had presented themselves to Adolf Hitler, and that they built a moon base. There has always been that coming. We need to talk about that a little bit further.
There's an interesting parallel here. I don't know if you all saw the news recently where the U.S. for the first time since the 70s is reinvesting a ton of money into research and development here in the country because of the pace that China is investing into new research of technology. So
there's actually a lot. I agree. There's a lot of new technology coming out, being announced. One was just announced recently about a metal that was found that did not expand. It does not expand when it's burned, or when it becomes it goes through extreme weather conditions. So to give you an example, right now, if we have a really fast supersonic jet, that supersonic jet is actually leaking fuel on the runway when it's going slow. When it speeds up, it actually tightens up and becomes airtight because of the extremes in weather. Just like anything expands or contracts. They're just announced that they found a new metal that neither expands nor contracts, and it just stays absolutely the same in the most extreme conditions that we can produce on the Earth.
They found this metal? They've developed it. Okay, all right. They developed it. All right.
It's still pretty wild, though.
Well, there's a lot of speculation about things that have crashed, the technology that they've learned, the metals that they've studied,
recovered, right?
Right. So there's a lot of conversations that are happening that may or may not be true about this advanced technology and how we might actually be seeing some of the technology that we've learned from other places start to infiltrate into our aerospace industry. Should be interesting.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting. Well, I'm looking forward to that report and definitely reporting it to our audience out there about what is actually out there, what's in the midst of that. And then let's talk about some other strange news.
Yeah, what's happening in the other strange news?
What? Yes.
So the death of John McAfee, who created McAfee, our software that we have, that our virus software. He mysteriously died in a jail in prison. They say that he supposedly hung himself. I mean, does this sound familiar? And let me just say something that's really interesting. As someone who has gone to jail before, and that's another story.
We didn't talk about this.
Yeah,
you were in jail?
I was in jail. I was in jail for 2 days. That's another story. But when you go into a jail,
we have got to go into that story.
When you go into a jail, they take everything away from you that you could possibly use to harm yourself. Everything.
Yeah. So
I find it to be strange that all these people who don't have that kind of, yeah, exactly. All these people who,
That's actually really funny.
Angel, that right.
That's really funny. Oh my God.
Yeah,
too
exactly.
much.
Yeah, Kat, you know it. I have to tell that story later. But I find it to be very, very, very strange that he, all of a sudden, somebody who does not spend too much time in jail could be that inventive and find something to murder himself. And his wife is claiming that he did not commit suicide. She's saying that. So when they found him, apparently, I just don't imagine somebody killing themselves over tax evasion. And that's why he's in Spain. Isn't that what he went to Spain for tax evasion? He left the US to avoid it.
And then right. He left the US to avoid it. They were about to bring him back.
Right. That's it. They're going to extradite him like in 2 weeks or so, right?
Right. So they found him at this hotel. That is. It's very sketchy. They found him at this hotel, and they call this hotel like the no-tell hotel or the ghost hotel, that there is no way to communicate with anybody in this hotel, and they located him there. And I
thought he was in jail. Is this
before he went to jail, before they put him in jail in Spain, they located him at this place.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Now, apparently, a lot of people go here if they're under the grid, or if they're on the grid. And it's interesting that they went on this whole big sleuthy mission to find a guy that's wanted for tax evasion.
I'd want my money back if I was at that hotel.
Yes.
I don't know, they look like they have a nice little garden out there.
Well, obviously he was still having fun. But his wife says that he did not commit suicide. So I'm thinking that he was about to drop the dime on somebody for that tax evasion stuff. So basically he tried to use a bargain chip here, and they were like, oh, the hell you say, you done. And that's what happened.
Well, I think and you're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, right? The other person that would.
No, and that's funny you said that. I'm talking about McAfee. Don't you think that these stories are similar?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was sort of comparing the McAfee to Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
Very similar.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting that these two people were actually. They had really crazy lives. They had a lot of political connections. They had a lot of enemies and a lot of really good friends that rode their coattails. And there's, endless amount of videos and footage and that sort of thing about this particular person. I mean, going back decades, this was a known party person. And now all of a sudden, this is the end? Really? This is someone that lived life to the fullest, was always on the extremes.
Who probably would have been fine in the American legal system with the amount of money they had.
Well, this is my point.
Like,
Exactly.
What would cause you to run, one, and what would cause you to be murdered or be snuffed out? And it has something to do with what he might have discovered. I mean, this is a man who I guess wrote code to protect us from viruses. So imagine how many people's computers he's gotten into.
I always thought his code felt like more of the virus.
Oh yeah, I always got more problems after that stuff than I did
after McAfee internet security.
Well, who knows? I have McAfee on this right now, so who knows? But I'm just saying, I think that it's very.
You better be careful talking about
it. Yeah, whatever. I just think it's very strange. I think it's very strange, and I'm apt to believe his wife that said that, yeah. Oh, you are so right, Kat. He might have had somebody's, yes, or child pornography for that matter, because that goes on too in high places, and child abduction. So I'm just saying, I think it's very strange. But his wife is saying that he did not commit suicide. She knows her husband, I think. So
you would think.
Despite that, it's a terrible loss to his family, anybody that really knew him and loved him. So, I just hate that that's happening, and I'm hating that they're writing it off and not doing an investigation or further investigation as to the mystery of his supposed suicide.
Yeah. In jail.
Exactly. So I'm just saying that isn't, and this is the jail that he was in. So, I don't think this is a high security jail. I think that he probably had a lot of privileges being a wealthy man. I just find it to be very, very strange.
I agree. And good for you for finding a picture of the jail.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
I love doing it. Yeah, I found the picture. It doesn't look like that jail is that, I mean, it doesn't look very secure.
It didn't look that scary.
Yeah, it doesn't look scary, but it also doesn't look secure. So that means that anybody could walk up in there and did, whatever. Look at that. Does that look secure to you? No.
Doesn't look anything like the death row prison in Texas that I saw once.
Yeah.
I drove by it, and there's people with assault rifles on the walls and stuff, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right about that, Angel. It does look like a DMV. It does not look like a jail. Yeah, very, very strange. Anyway, let's move on. So we are wrapping up this episode. It is the end of June, because the next time we see you, we are wrapping up our Pride Month content. As we celebrate the end of Pride Month and it winds down. And all of the material that we're definitely going to be showing today is geared to that. And also, we're wrapping up our gins in June. Okay, gins being DJINNS, gins. So
not the tasty kind.
Not the tasty kind, not that kind, not the GIN, no, but the gins DJI.
That'd be a good name for an alcoholic drink, by the way, like gin and tonic.
That would be cool. We're talking about the gins.
And no Muslim will drink it. I'll tell you that. If they don't drink it, they don't drink anyway. I don't think that that's part of they don't drink.
We're talking about the gins that look like Will Smith, right?
Yeah.
No, we're not talking about that gin.
Will Smith.
We don't have that slide.
I do have that slide, but it's not the Will Smith.
There he is. There's the Will Smith gin. That's what we're talking about.
No, gins exactly are genies. Gins is what we call them in the Islamic faith.
They all look just like
genies is the more romanticized version of what a jinn is, because they really are hellish. So let's go on to what we are talking about. So our first jinn we're talking about today, our last four, is the Karim. And it's a spiritual double of a human who is trying to destroy the human. due to its ghostly nature. And a Korean is classified as a Jinn type. It's often termed as Nafs, who always pushes us around the sin, towards sin. So basically, I would say that it's either a doppelganger or it's like the bad person on your shoulder that tells you what to do. You know, but it whispers into your ears and into your thoughts. It goes into your thoughts. It makes you have fears. You know, it denies the existence of a greater being or a creator. Yeah, that's a gorgeous picture, by the way. I don't know who did this photo, but it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yo, give me that Caraffe's number.
I know. I can tell you what, though. I bet you Angel could recreate this because this is the kind of art that he does.
I bet you're
that
right.
art is. Yeah, he just said it. The art is amazing. It's beautiful.
Give me your TikTok.
Yeah. You know, usually I try to identify who did this, but when I found this photo, I did not find who was the creator of this photo. So whoever is out there, if you are watching this show, let us know who created this.
Please. Look at those cheekbones.
Yeah. So, but this is what it is. It's basically that thing that whispers in your ears that we know, you know, about it. Exactly.
This photo is wild.
Yeah. So it's in your thoughts. It's in your mind.
This reminds me of that thing in The Conjuring, you know, that like is in the background and it just goes like that in the background.
Right.
In The Conjuring, totally.
Right, but this creature actually lives in a parallel dimension, and it actually whispers into your ear and tells you to commit sins. But I think it also is it's a doppelganger. And so then the next one that we are talking about is the hen.
Okay, that looks kind of cute.
And I'm not talking about this hen.
What?
I
don't get it.
Y'all don't know who that is?
No.
Augie, you don't know?
That's Biddy Hen. That's Biddy Hen. Y'all don't know who that is?
No. I never saw that person in my life.
Y'all need to go to church. That's what y'all do.
I don't know. My Jinn is telling me not to go to church.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
long.
Angel. Exactly. So Biddy Hen is this huge evangelist. And he's a big time evangelist. And, you know, he believes in healing through like evangelical methods and stuff like that.
You're asking the wrong gay right
And he's
here.
very wealthy. He's very wealthy. Yes. I wouldn't even say he's a Vulcan. Don't even put him in the same category as a Vulcan because he ain't that good. A Kardashian, yes, maybe. But anyway, not this hen. Not this hen. Not to say anything bad about this man. He has a huge ministry. And there's a lot of people that believe in him. But I mean, he can be accused of being he can be accused of being a charlatan. He's a very wealthy man who has his own private jets and all that other kind of stuff. And you know, I have to think about that when you're doing ministry. So that we could go into a whole nother, you know, thing about that. I don't want to go into that right now. But anyway, not this hen. We're talking about this hen. And a hen is a supernatural creature that is besides jinn and devils, that in Arabian lore is also a group of pre-Adamitic race in Islamic related faith. So in other words, and their existence, they can be accepted, they can be called hens, Druze, Ben, Tim, or Ren. So basically, these are creatures that existed prior to Adam.
And they all have like humanoid bodies and animal faces. Right.
So interestingly enough, I find it to be very interesting that these demons existed because they look like gods from India and Egypt. If you think about it, there looks like a Bastet there. It looks like
it's interesting you say that because my mind immediately went to like the furry community when I saw these anthropomorphic demons.
Yeah, but they look like, you know, they were here before the beginning of time.
That did look like Ganesh, by the way. That did look like the
it does look like Ganesh. It does look like Ganesh or somebody's I did. And these are all Islamic drawings from the past, but it does look like Ganesh. It looks like Bastet, Ganesh. Uh, what's the other one that has the dog face from
It's
Egypt?
not Anubis, right?
Anubis,
Might be
yes.
Anubis.
They look just like that. Very interesting.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah. Yes.
Jesus don't, but Kenneth Copeland do.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. They have those private jets and stuff. Makes me think. Yeah.
Let me tell you, the comments coming in today are awesome. They're hilarious.
Thank you. Please don't stop.
I am here for it.
Now, because I got to go back and look at that picture of him because it does look like a Ralph Macchio. Let's take a look at it one more time.
I'll take a sip of my tea for every comment.
It does look like Rambaccio. Sweep the leg. Sweep the leg.
Oh my gosh. Doing the whole Cobra Kai. Angel. Y'all are cracking me up, you and Kat. Y'all cracking me up. Stop. I will never look at Benny Hinn the same way, nor Ralph Macchio the same way again. I just can't. Anyway, so the next one we're going to go into is Shaitan. So Shaitan, I've often heard, is people from Islam call Satan Shaitan. Yes.
Well, he has horns, I guess.
Yeah. So Shaitan are evil spirits in Islamic belief. They incite humans to sin, same thing. They whisper into the ear and the heart, same thing as before that we were talking about. But they are more grotesque, hellish looking creatures. So I would say demonic creatures.
Yeah, I'll say, especially when they're red like that.
Yeah.
And ripped.
Ripped and red, right?
Annabelle, you need something.
No. So whoever wrote this, I don't know who this person is. Their name is on here. Let's see if we can pull up their name so we can give them some credit. This person, I can't see who the name is, but this is beautiful art.
It's gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah. Shaitan is the same. Yes.
Like the one pronunciation that Sean Connery never screws up.
Yeah, exactly. Because it has a SH sound in it.
Shaitan.
Sorry, I couldn't not think it when I saw Angel's comment. I'm like, oh yeah.
Y'all are bad. Y'all are really bad tonight. So yeah, this is what Shaitan does. It's a Semitic word. It has Semitic roots. Like I said, the form being Satan and Shaitan. And then lastly, we have Malak. So Malak is not necessarily a bad angel. It's a messenger angel, but he warns of death. And that's why somebody would consider it to be a bad omen. Malak are heavenly angels, heavenly beings created by God. They have different roles, including the praise of God, interacting with humans in ordinary life, and carrying out the laws of nature. Now, there's different kinds of Malak. The one mostly that we're depicting here is the one that is a harbinger of death. Yeah. But Malak could be, all the names for that. They could be called Malaika or messengers or Malak.
So it's kind of like anticipating death, like they're just ushering in death.
I would say they're similar to the Mothman, if you think about that. A winged being that's actually angelic that warns of impending doom.
I always like how there's like these similar themes between like certain types of omens, right?
Yeah, definitely. And they all have wings because the Mothman has wings. And whenever people have seen the Mothman, there has been some kind of destruction. Yep. So these are the name of the main angels that are the main Malak angels. We have Jibril, who is actually Gabriel. Israfil, which I'm thinking is Raphael. Mikael, which is Michael. Munkar and Nakir, I don't know who they are, but these are angels of death. Malak Maut is the angel of death himself. Okay, so Munkar and Nakir are the angels. The angels come after death, and they question the souls to the grave about their faith and their deeds. And then you have Malik, who's the guardian of hell, and Ridwan, who's the guardian of heaven.
And this is within like Middle Eastern Islamic tradition.
Yes.
Yeah, because a lot of these look
Yes.
pretty similar to the Christian versions
Right.
of these angels.
Well, but it's the same God.
Yeah.
It's the same God and the same influence. And you know, just so people know, it's the same God. If you've ever picked up the Quran and read it, it's the same God. Same you know, prophets, and it even talks about Jesus and Mary in the Quran. And it's very funny. You just said that, not to be confused with Darth Malak, which I'm sure that's what that name came from. Yeah. The wings are just, it's a very interesting. So, yeah, they're gatekeepers. Wow, you are very knowledgeable about these angels, Cat and Angel. Well,
Yes,
Angel.
you are.
Angel, you know about angels, Angel. And that's true. Angel wings have a purpose beside flight. You are absolutely
They're also
correct.
part of the mating ritual.
Angels
What?
don't mate. Angels don't
What?
mate. That's for birds.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Annabelle is just like
Annabelle.
one track mind today.
I'm saying, it's all about the kitty to her today.
That's
And
right.
Yeah, little Gabby. So let's talk about and this is Augie's. Augie, you're going to take it away on this one.
Oh, I am.
You
It's-
actually
I'm
have
up.
some. Yeah, this is going to
Okay.
be so very interesting. You're up on this one.
All right. So I'm here to actually talk about 4 queer horror films that we can watch for Pride Month.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, we still have another week left in Pride Month. It's not over yet. And if you look at, Amazon Prime or Netflix, they have these incredibly, Hulu, they have these incredibly curated LGBT content that's there for you. And I highly recommend checking that stuff out. I've been watching something new every night this month, and it's been so much fun to sort of check out what's going on. But what we're talking about are 4 horror movies that have either explicit or implicit queerness in them. So the first one that I want to talk about is called Cat People.
Cat people.
Cat People.
Are you trying to say that cat people are queer?
Well, you said it, I didn't, but I had 2. So
I've had many.
So this is the 1942 version of Cat People, and it's a movie about a young woman who is the victim of an ancient curse, which causes her to turn into a panther when her passions are ignited. Of course it does. So in this movie, the film's use of like otherness and sort of alienation of the female protagonist is really code, as the story is really about lesbianism and repressed nature of sexual preference outside of the social norm. So this in 1942 was a real interesting movie that actually did really well at the box office. So even in this particular movie, the female lead really can't even perform regular roles of the wife with her husband. That was expected at that time like the wife was in a role and the husband was in a role. She couldn't really fulfill any of these heteronormative behaviors. So it's actually one of the first examples of horror films being used as a vessel to explore LGBTQ issues in that sense of not being part of the mainstream. So
Is
I want
that
to
her in the cage?
So you know what? This actually, to me, this reminds me of the 1980s version with Natasha Kinski.
Mhm.
It actually has the same vibe to it.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a remake, absolutely, with
yeah,
Natasha Kinski.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite movies. And that is so true. That is so true. They couldn't express that because in the 40s they were very restricted as to how they could express themselves.
That's right. I chose this particular one because of the time period that it came out. I mean, it was, to talk about not explicitly, but implicitly about sexuality as not being part of the mainstream. And then, literally becoming an animal when you have these feelings, it was really an interesting take. Now, kind of here's some trivia about this. When you're watching a horror movie and there's like this big tense moment and they set it all up for a big jump scare, and then all of a sudden something happens and it's like, there's nothing there, right?
Yeah, it was anticlimactic, yes.
Completely. Some people call it the cat scare, where it's sometimes like just a cat that's, going rare as you open it up. So that was started in this particular movie. So that whole big setup for the big jump scare and then have it be anticlimactic, this was the first movie that ever took place in. Interestingly enough, this film was shot in 18 days, only 18 days.
Now, is this film foreign? I thought this was maybe a French film, or no, it's made in America.
It's made in the U.S. Absolutely. Wow. Made in the U.S. Came out of Hollywood, filmed on the East Coast, actually. In fact, they had 2 units shooting around the clock to ensure that they could film it and complete the film on time. So, in fact, in the previous shot, where you saw like the cat, that was actually filmed on a Central Park Zoo set that had just been used for an RKO production featuring Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. So they reused the sets, they reused everything, and they shot it in 18 days. This film actually went on to be a blockbuster that year. That made a huge amount of money. It was very not scandalous, but it really captivated people. And I have a feeling it captivated people because it started to deal with this topic that had never really been dealt with, which is really female sexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Angel asked, was this considered a horror film at that time? Well, I think it was, but what we know as horror film now is pretty explicit, with blood and everything like that. But when there's an element of somebody actually having some kind of supernatural change, that was considered, because that's not the norm. Any type of supernatural, anything that has to do with witchcraft or ancient curses and the whatnot, that was considered horror at the time.
Absolutely. There's a famous movie where they look at people who are in the circus, right? All the sideshow people.
Oh, freaks.
Freaks, yes.
Yes.
Where they really categorize and brand sideshow people as the horror, right? As something to look at and be horrified. So this was definitely a moment in time, but I really like this because of the sort of first time that we're really seeing a woman.
Film noir. It's very film noir.
It is. It's wonderful. So let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
The next one is a more recent one that people love called The Babadook.
Oh, I know this one.
You know this one? And what is your
Babadook?
I'm very curious why this is in this category. I'm very curious about this.
Yes. So this is actually, so it rose to become an actual LGBTQ icon from the moment in time when it was online, and it circulated showing the film appearing on Netflix's LGBTQ cinema library, which was an error. Right? But since the error, the LGBTQ community has embraced the Babadook as a gay icon.
What?
Yes. And there's been online, you'll see tons of analyses from like looking at the Babadook from a queer lens. So, and they talk about the similarities between the film and the LGBTQ experience, and
he's such a queer icon.
Yeah, he's such an icon.
It is so funny, isn't it? A lot of people actually talk about the Babadook as a symbol of the lead character Amelia's depression and anxiety. Since a lot of LGBTQ community is often burdened with repression and self-destructive emotions, and they have similar feelings. So there's definitely a lot of discussion around that. So it actually became really popular as a meme. There was a Babadook LGBTQ meme that went around, which was kind of funny at the time. But actually, Babadook, when you look up what it actually means he's coming for sure in Hebrew.
Wow.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Annabelle.
Annabelle.
What else would it mean? We're talking about it through a queer perspective.
Okay.
There we go. So what I think is also interesting, and you'll like this, Annabelle, because it has like this really interesting use of gaming sounds throughout Babadook. So there's a few scenes where the sound effects are from Warcraft 2, Tides of Darkness, from Warcraft 2 Beyond the Portal, Warcraft 3 Beyond the Portal. There's a vocal sample from Resident Evil.
Oh my gosh.
There is more sound effects from the 90s video game XCOM UFO Defense.
What?
And the scream heard repeatedly toward the end of Babadook is that of Motaro, a character from Mortal Kombat 3.
Oh my gosh! Why did they use all these gaming sound effects in this movie?
I have no idea, but I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like, I did not hear anything like that. Now I have to go revisit this, knowing that they actually pulled all this, because
I have to say, this is scaring Angel. He did not like this movie because it scared him.
You're making me want to watch this again.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I have to put the Babadook in here coming through the door.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The game, the producer and whoever it was that created this was obviously a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I bet that's what it is. Bet that's what it is.
That is true. It's very meta.
Yeah. By the way, the film is actually a pretty amazing achievement when it comes to characters in a horror movie. They're alive at the beginning and they're still alive at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty amazing. Well, excluding the dog, but I know.
I don't like that.
Poor doggy.
I know.
It's like a total flip on the horror trope.
Yeah.
It is. It totally is.
The dog always lives.
Now, the next movie is one that I was totally freaked out about when I was a kid, and I loved it, and I thought it was amazing. I have no idea why, but it is The Lost Boys.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I'm definitely now curious about why this is a gay icon movie.
You're curious about why this is a gay icon movie? Have you seen it?
I've seen the movie. I've not seen anything in it that outside of the boys hanging out with each other. Is that the thing?
All right, so it was from openly gay filmmaker Joel Schumacher.
Okay.
And it also is kind of ridiculously campy, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So it's about two brothers who move with a single mother to a small beach town in Santa Clara. The small town has a big problem: vampires. So older brother Michael becomes enamored with a vampire coven led by the seductive David. And younger brother Sam hangs an attractive poster of Rob Lowe in his bedroom, which both of which are just the start of the overt homosexual undertones and gay coding in the film as a whole.
I was going to say, this movie has always been, from my perception, gay as hell. Whenever I've watched
Gay as hell.
So
honestly,
Kat, you're talking about Tom Capello, who was the sax player at the beginning. I Still Believe. I've never seen anything like that ever, and I will tell you, he will live forever in my imagination.
That's an iconic scene, right?
Yes,
I'm like,
yes.
I would love to be at this show. This is crazy.
Yes, that show. I was like, oh God, somebody like that actually exists. You know, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
that is like.
It looks like he took a dunk in a vat of oil and then like went out on stage with his saxophone.
Yes, he was very shiny with those chains coming off of him and everything. I'm just
He
like,
was to this
and the way
day.
he was moving that body, I still believe. Oh my gosh, doing that little dance. Oh, honey, I tell you.
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
over here being like, I don't see what's gay about this film.
I don't know.
Look,
Naked man covered in oil, playing the saxophone. What's gay about that?
No, but because my attraction was very hetero. It was not anything, you know, gay about it. But I guess it was a lot of eye candy on this because
let's look at
even
this
the
photo.
vampires.
Is there anything gay about this photo? I don't know.
His the way he's dressed, maybe, but that's very 80s.
Standing in front of a comic book called Man Thing.
Yeah, this is so.
I think that was Schumacher's. I'm sure that was all his, you know, taken. He made sure that it was in front of Man Thing.
Oh yes, oh yes. So the other thing about this is we have the character Star, right, which is sort of positioned as between David and Michael as the love interest, but the sexual tension throughout is between David and Michael.
Yes.
It's not with Star. She just happens to be there.
Yeah,
David and Michael are the.
Interestingly, he never expresses his love for Star. He just says, "You like her, don't you?"
Yep.
He never says it.
And David and Michael even exchange blood, right? In an exchange of bodily fluids, which triggers a change in Michael.
Yes.
God, I want to watch this movie again right now. Looking at all the images.
Angel, she was beautiful back in those days. I remember when she was the hottest thing in 80s movies at that time. Yeah, she really was.
She got that because of Jason Patric. They had done a show together, and Jason Patric recommended her.
There was just very attractive men in this whole entire movie.
Yep. So of course the Lost Boys are from what? Do you guys know what the Lost Boys are from? The term the Lost Boys?
Yes, from Peter Pan.
From Peter Pan, exactly. So this is named after Peter Pan's The Lost Boys. People who remain forever young. So
Angel, I obviously see that you are an upper chest guy.
For those who follow the two Coreys, this is the first movie that the two Coreys were together.
Yeah.
Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they actually became friends because they were not old enough to go to the nightly parties held by the other actors. So they bonded when they stayed in a hotel watching movies and visiting the local arcade, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm
going to tell you, them together on film, even when they did like License to Drive and anything else that they did, just exceptional friendship and chemistry on film.
Completely. I think
he's very missed. He is very missed because he was really a light.
He was a light. He was fantastic. He was one of my favorite actors at the time.
Yeah.
So who else was going to be considered for the role of David, which is the Kiefer Sutherland role? Guess who else? Also in the 80s in Hollywood, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was up for the role of David.
Oh, no.
Yep, he was. Luckily, he did not get it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren was going to be considered.
I don't have that information, but maybe.
No, that just would not have worked.
The other person that's a friend of our show is Kelly Jo Mintner, right? Kelly Jo Mintner is in this movie. In
this movie, she is. Yeah, Kelly Jo Mintner is in this movie.
Now, the majority of her role was deleted, but they still kept her billing in the opening credits. So good for Kelly Jo, right? She's still got her name out there.
Yeah, I did actually speak to her about that. I did exactly speak to her about the fact that you didn't get to see her in the film. But I mean, she's okay with that because she's become iconic as a Black actress who survived horror from this time on. So it just, just not, she just didn't get in there, but that's okay. Her name's there. So I think that probably counts.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know they filmed this movie in only 3 weeks?
Wow. And did they actually film it in Santa Clarita?
They did. Yes, they were on site there in Santa.
So this is kind of unrelated, but what is the fascination with Santa Clarita?
I was going to ask the same question. Is it that weird?
They filmed it in Santa Cruz. I believe.
Santa Cruz. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to clarify.
Santa Clarita was where this actually the scene for this is where this was based, and Santa Clarita also is the show that was on Netflix. I think is that Netflix or Santa Clarita Diet?
Netflix, and it's a basis for the show or for the movie Us by oh my god, it's the same guy that did what is it? Get Out. I can't remember his name right now.
You're talking about Jordan Peele.
Peele, yeah. The Peele movie Us is a horror, like the horror part starts in the same spot as this movie.
Yeah.
I love this. This movie made such an impression on me growing up. I loved this movie so much. And it scared me, and I was fascinated by it. And I thought this was just the most amazing movie.
It's aesthetically just like a chef's kiss.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it is very 80s, and you immediately are thrown back into that time watching this movie.
Yes.
Immediately. It just has just the best feel for ever,
Yeah, this movie has actually created the phrase "vamp out," which they then passed on to Buffy in the Buffy the Vampire series.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the final movie.
Yep. Cry Little Sister.
Cry Little Sister. That's right.
That song was so iconic. Oh, even when you hear it now,
it's amazing. Yeah, that song was actually created by it was written right after the songwriter was given a script. He didn't see any footage of the movie. He didn't know anything about the movie. He just read the script, and he created that song for the movie.
Wow, well, it fit.
Oh, amazing. Yes, I love this. So let's move on to the final one. The final one is a fun movie from 2009 called Jennifer's Body.
Yes.
Do you guys remember this? Have you seen Jennifer's Body?
I haven't seen it, but I remember it coming out.
Yes. I have to tell you, she was so sexy in this that I thought about it.
What?
You almost crossing the line?
You almost changed alliances?
She was, I literally had like a crush on her because I was like, if I could just embody that sexiness, how badass would I be?
Oh, totally.
So I couldn't think if it was an obsession, attraction, or whatever. She was so just in this movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous and sexy and everything. The appeal crossed every gender in this.
Oh, totally. Yeah, she was truly amazing. So it's actually undergoing a cult resurgence. It didn't do too great at the box office, but people have rediscovered this. And of course, it's pretty overtly an exploration of female relationships, social hierarchies, gender politics, LGBTQ relationships. It's about Jennifer and Needy is the other female lead. They have an unhealthy codependent relationship ripe with sexual tension and homoerotic qualities. But I think what really appeals to people too is the camp, the camp factor. It's kind of campy and fun. And that also makes it really popular. So the characters of Jennifer and Needy had more blatant sexual tension in the original script. As a reflection of teenage curiosity and experimentation with same sex. And they were originally supposed to have a much more explicit sex scene in the movie, but they ended up taking it out so it would appeal to larger audiences. They thought that was too much. So
Wow.
both Amanda Seyfried, who played Needy, and Megan Fox say this was the most fun movie they have ever had in their whole filmography.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you, as bad as the movie was, as bad as it was, I have to tell you though, there were some very scary premises in this movie and some really horrific effects that make it worth watching.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I've
and-
never seen it, so now I really want to.
yeah, and she was just really sexy in this. I mean, from a standpoint of being the demon that she was in this, there was something very appealing about her in this, and I thought it was so good. I thought she was really good in it. So was Amanda Seyfried. She was good too. But they accomplished the sexuality of this demon, and this demon was just insatiable. They did accomplish that.
Absolutely. Let me tell you, Megan Fox was not the first person up for this role. They actually offered the role to Blake Lively, and Blake Lively turned down the role. Only then, because there were scheduling conflicts with Gossip Girl, only then could Megan Fox get cast.
Well, she was perfect for this. And I mean, you can see the dynamic between good and evil, the blonde being the good and the dark-haired one being the evil one.
Yeah. And for Needy, the one on the right in that photo, for Needy, they actually had people come in and audition for it. Emma Stone and Brie Larson were almost cast
I
as
can
Needy.
see that. I can see that too. I definitely could see that.
Yeah.
I definitely could see that.
Of course, they went with Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah.
Now, for this movie, Megan Fox lost a bunch of weight, and she actually was down to kind of an emaciated 97 pounds.
Oh my god!
Ooh.
And she didn't go outside at all, so she would appear completely gaunt and pale.
Wow.
Yeah.
She was, when she was the character herself before she was taken over by the demon, the way that they developed her character, the way that they filmed her and everything, she had an overall appeal to everyone in this.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's good. I mean, she of course brought that to, she is a sexy woman and she brought that to the camera, but it was just whatever it was that they were trying to accomplish as far as her being insatiable and as far as her being irresistible, they accomplished that.
Oh yeah. So those are my 4 queer horror films for Pride Month. I hope everybody gets a chance to see them.
Those are great.
Yeah, those
Thank
are really
you.
great. Those are really good. Yeah, very, very good. Very good with the history on that and stuff like that. I'm always you are so knowledgeable when it comes to that kind of stuff. You really are.
Gotta research this stuff.
Yeah. So we will be back next Thursday. Are we coming back? Is that
We are.
4th of July weekend? That's the 3rd or the
That's
second?
like
not
the first.
Quite the
July
4th of
1st.
July weekend.
So
It's
we'll be
right
back.
before.
We'll be back. We'll be back on the 1st. And I just want to alert everybody, might as well tell you all now that we are going on hiatus in August. We're going to have some summer vacation time with our families. So you will not probably see the Tingling Tea for a whole entire month. I might do some reruns, some rebroadcasts, in the month of August, but we're going to actually take a break so we can go do something. But
Let's go sit at the beach and drink some mojitos.
Mojitos, or I'm going over to Augie's house.
Yes, you are.
Same.
Yeah, so Augie has.
I'm ready.
Yeah, definitely. Come on, Annabelle.
I'll meet you there.
Please do. I would love that.
I want to go play with that puppy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes, we've been all enamored with our babies in the last. So Annabelle is a new mama now, a pet mama, and Augie has a new boy, a new. You've always had pets. This is nothing new, but this is a boy. You've never had a dog, right?
So I haven't had a dog. I haven't had a dog since I was, in my early 20s. So for me, that it's been a little while. And I never had a dog when it was a puppy. I always sort of adopted. We got it from, kennels when they were adult dogs. So this is my first experience with a puppy, which is different. You know, you have to really pay a lot of attention to a puppy.
That's a lot more work.
I have a lot of scrapes on my hands. I have a lot of, you know,
I don't know if I
bites.
can see the scratch I got for. Oh yeah, you can kind of see a little scratch from the kitty cat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
And Annabelle?
I'm covered in scratches.
Yeah, yes, this is what happens when you're parenting babies. Annabelle, what's it like being a cat mommy, a kitty mommy?
Oh, I love my little kitty cat. He
Oh.
crawls on top of my head, jumps off, falls over, purrs.
It's a joy. Yes, they are. They're so amazing. I
They
love
are.
pets. I love pets.
And you can follow my pet on Instagram at _amazing_Baxter right now.
That's right. Baxter has his own Instagram page.
He's
So,
young, but he's with it. Let me tell you.
Yeah, he's already gotten some offers to be a model.
Yes.
This is weird. He's beautiful. He really is. And so is Gabby. Gabby is also beautiful.
Gorgeous.
You know,
yes.
gorgeous, gorgeous babies. Well, anyway, we'll be back next Thursday, same time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Throughout the week, though, where will we find you, Annabelle?
You'll find me right back here on the Tingling Tea.
Wait, it's that way. That way. Okay,
right
go
back
ahead.
here on
That
the Tingling
way.
Tea.
And you do game. Where
I
can
do
we find
game
you?
as well
on
on Twitch. So this is my social media handle. You'll probably find me on everything with it.
Okay. The Annabelle Chimpton or Annabelle Chimpton. Thank you, Angel. Please follow us. Yes. And please come back next Thursday because we're going to have some really awesome content and some really great guests in the month of July. And Augie, where can we find you?
On Instead at Augie_ominous. You can also find me on Facebook, and you can find me right here on the Tingling Tea.
And for me, you can usually find me on Saturdays at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with the Bit and Apple TV for Apple Bites. Sunday night with Kat for Evolution Commons This Week in Pop Culture. We've actually been on a hiatus for a while, but we usually are there at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Sunday night. And here on Thursday night with the Tingling Tea at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can also find me on Twitch, Xbox, or anything like that. Now I'm gaming on PC, playing my game of choice. This right now is Dead by Daylight and Mass Effect at SistaSlaya. So please follow, like, subscribe, whatever. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you all hanging out with us. And we will definitely see you next week, 8 o'clock Central Time. Same place, same channel. Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.